And I, with my moon up in the 9th house, really have a desire to learn another language. So I always try to study my Chinese during Mercury retrograde. So no matter how much I forget during the non-retrograde periods, when we call Mercury direct, when Mercury goes retrograde again, I feel compelled to go study it again. And so this works for if you're learning the computer, if you are starting a diet and exercise program, even if you take a vacation. You can do these on Mercury retrograde, and then when the retrograde comes back, you will go back to that place. So just one little tip, if you're going on vacation during Mercury retrograde, so remember that your luggage is probably going to Baltimore.
Right, right. Yes, I've experienced
Yes.
that. I like to say with a Mercury retrograde, too, that if you take every verb you can think of and put R-E in front of it, then you have a way of working with it rather than being in fear. You know, so that's, renew, remodel, review.
Yes.
All those kind of things.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yes.
Yes. And it really works for diet and exercise.
Yes.
This is just a foolproof method. Start your diet and exercise program during Mercury retrograde. And even if you fall off the wagon, you will be back there, back at the gym, back eating healthy at the next retrograde.
That's great. Yeah, that's good advice, too. Tell me, ways to shift some energy now that we didn't talk about the animals that don't get along too well with horse.
Yes.
And so they need to have some remedies, I think. And so you're the expert. Tell me some.
Well, the remedies, what I've done is I've taken astrology, specifically Chinese astrology, and combined it with the art and science of Feng Shui. Now, Feng Shui is how your environment affects you. And this is actually, well, now we're finding science is saying, oh my goodness, yes, your environment really does affect you. And so this isn't some magical thing that we're placing something and then poof, something happens. It's that when we place objects or move furniture in our lives, we then are affected to make different decisions, have different energy levels, different moods. Just like if you have a different mood if you go into a bank or a casino. Yes. I mean, both places that have your money.
That's right.
So, but most of the energy shifts is because of the decor. And so, so let's take pig, for example. You know, pig is a very different animal than the horse, even though they're both the barnyard animals. Pig is very sensitive, very intuitive, very psychic, and yet wants to stay at home and be comfortable. And horse wants to be out there, you know, running through the prairie. So pig has to make some adjustments to get out there into the world. And so one of the things that I was suggesting for pigs is they want to be assured lots of money is coming in. So I suggested in my book that they hang strings of coins. Now, the Chinese coin is great for this because it's a round coin with a square hole. This is because the round signifies heaven and the square is earth. So we're bringing heaven and earth together.
Oh, super.
Because of the square hole, though, we can string them together. And so you can get coin strings of 3 coins, 8 coins, 18 coins. You can get all these different numbers of coins. And I say, just go and hang them everywhere in the house. So if you're born near the pig, hang them on doorknobs, on drawer pulls, from plants, from lamps. And what happens is like attracts like. Your reticular activating system in your brain, that part of you that filters out what's important, suddenly starts to beeline to money opportunities. And so suddenly you do see, oh, here's a great stock tip. Oh, here's a little way I can make some extra money. Here's somebody who wants to buy my old sofa. You find ways that money can come to you. You even wake up and maybe you get some lottery numbers,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good, good. Okay, well, I'm a dog, so I had a bad year last year, and I want to improve.
Yeah.
So could you give me some tips on how to improve and work with the horse here.
Yes, well, as I already said, dog is going to have such a much better year. But one of the tips I do have is for prosperity, if you want to bring that in, is to sprinkle some cinnamon on your front porch. Now, I'm talking about the cinnamon that's already in your spice cabinet, the one you'd sprinkle on your toast. I want you to take like a half a teaspoon and just dust it along, on the porch, on top of the welcome mat, under the welcome mat, and do this about once a month. And what that does is this generates the energy of people who are going to come to you and say, I can help you with this. I can bring you some prosperity opportunities here. I have some money for you. And by the way, if you're owed money, do a little pinch on the back porch too. Back porch draws money that's owed to us.
Oh.
Yes.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Now, the pig was one animal that kind of doesn't get along with horse. What is another one?
Yeah, unfortunately, ox, even though, again, you would think ox and horse, they seem like they're cousins. But the horse wants to go play, and ox will only play after all the work is done.
Oh, okay.
And so that ox needs to get out of the rut this year. And we're talking about something very subtle, to choose the most subtle thing that you can do. Yeah, so, just moving a sofa around, going to the grocery store in a different route, trying a new grocery store or a new restaurant, but doing anything to just climb out of that little bit of a rut. Okay?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, great news. And let me see, I had some other questions. Okay, looking at the big picture, can you look ahead and see maybe some little barriers in the road coming? I know Western astrology we could do that, but let's combine in a sense, and let's look at April. What's that going to be like?
Yes, we do have our big month April coming up, where we have eclipses and the big square between Uranus and Pluto. And, for most people, I mean, when we woke up on Chinese New Year, even people who didn't know that it was Chinese New Year, we all felt the year of the horse. And this is because this system has been in place for thousands of years. It's ingrained in our spiritual memory, in our ancestral memory. We know that when energy shifts. So we all woke up feeling like a horse. We wanted to run. And what did we have? We had Venus retrograde. Then Mercury was retrograde. Then Mars is going retrograde. And then we have this very disruptive energy in April also. And so this is like a horse that's at the gate ready to run, and the gate won't open. And so we're all a little impatient, and we're all trying to push against that gate. And April comes along, and the gate is going to fling open, and we're going to rush forward, but everybody's rushing forward at once. So what is important now is to, all those nagging things, that maybe things we don't really want to deal with. Maybe we're having some trouble with a daughter-in-law, or maybe there's some medical paperwork piling up. Whatever it is, we need to sit down and start working on that now. Because there's going to be so many people who wake up in April and say, oh my goodness, I have to go do this thing. And there's going to be irritated, stressed out people. And you could be the person who's just floating through, calm as anything, because your taxes are done, because your paperwork is done, because you have now a good relationship with your daughter-in-law. So this is how we prepare for this.
Good, good. And are there any other little periods coming up in the next year that are like April?
Well, it's just such an interesting year with all these retrogrades, one after another, and they were just stacked up. And so it does feel kind of like our horse is hobbled a little bit. Okay. That when we do want to move forward, yeah, we do run into, okay, there's a block here, there's a block there. And so we need to think to ourselves, let's not be impatient. I mean, I kind of think of it as if there was a hole in the ground, all right, we picture that, all right, what would you do? How would you get past that hole in the ground? Well, it all comes to how we're picturing it. If you picture the hole in the ground as being this little thing, you just step over it. But some people picture it as being the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
Yes. And so when you're thinking of the issues and the problems, you know, watch the internal language that's going on. So give yourself that energy of, you know what, this is something, I've probably been through it before in my life, or I know a friend who has, I can make it through this.
Super, super. Yeah. I just want to mention your book. What would be one of the best things you would say about your book that you wrote?
One of the things I'm really excited about with my book is that I broke everything into little sections where you have the prediction for your love life, and then a Feng Shui cure or Feng Shui remedy that you can use to make things happen more smooth. And then there's a section for money and prosperity. There's a section for legal and for family. And so I broke it all out so that you can find the different cures really easily.
Super. Okay, well, I think in closing, I really would like to thank you. You've been so informative. I look so forward to your lecture. You are going to do some readings, and we're very blessed because it's quite a discount.
Yes.
And so I would just say maybe that's your 10% to the universe, and everything works fine that way. Again, this is Donna Stellhorn. Her book is Chinese Astrology 2014, and she will be speaking at the Metaphysical Club in March, our first Thursday in March. We are so blessed to have her. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You good?